I want to help you get the ultimate clarity when it comes to what we do, who we serve, and how we can help. That is our vision here. We've helped over 5,000 people generate over $100 million in the HighLevel ecosystem. And there's a couple core functions that we do on a day-by-day to make your life easier, to ensure success and retention for your subscribers, and to ultimately come alongside you as the most powerful partner in the HighLevel ecosystem. I'm going to hop over into my screen here. Here we are inside of my screen, and this is the agency dashboard view. It might look a little bit different because we already have our custom theme applied, but I want to highlight this button over here in the bottom right. This is our support widget. This is the main interface that your customers and you can use to get support on a day-by-day basis. This will show up inside of sub accounts, and it's, sort of what you'd expect for a support widget. There's sort of like a home screen here where people can search for specific issues inside of the knowledge base. They can chat with us one-on-one, and they can even see new updates and new releases that are there. And that's also reflected down in the bottom there. So you got the home, you've got messages, you have the help, which is the knowledge base, the library there. And you also have the news releases there. And so this is the main interface that folks are going to experience. You can absolutely customize this. This is designed to be entirely brandable. Change out the logo, change out the colors, change out the font, apply custom CSS, then completely apply it to your brand. This is also, powerful when it comes to the documentation here, because this is designed to reflect your brand as well. And so in terms of the name of your brand, the imaging, stuff like that, it all can be tied back to your use case, and all of that's controllable and customizable. We just ensure that it stays as up-to-date as possible and as relevant as possible for your users, and that could be specific to your own SOPs. And we'll get into the back-end side of how this is all managed and how this is all run, but from the front end, what your users experience, this is the key flow there. Now, from the agency dashboard area, when you initially sign up, install our stuff, click on like the Get Started, it's going to turn on this control panel over here. And the control panel is, once again, sort of like your interface to set different options when it comes to how we are supporting you and your users. And so you see off the bat, we've got 4 options here for the widget. You can turn that on and off per sub accounts. Live chat, so you can have the widget on and not allow the live chats. Email, have the widget on and not allow email. And then the guided tours, which will show as well. And so all of these sort of encompass the core 4 ways that we want to support you and your users. And so that's knowledge. So this is kind of like on-demand learning. We've got the articles, we have videos, we even have courses, we've got news releases. These are all things that we keep up to date and constantly create in the background, but it's asynchronous. You can watch it, you can read it, you can engage with it anytime, day and night. The second piece is really call it like a spectrum of communication styles. So we have ticketing. Depending on your preference there, this can go straight to a ticketed support experience there, where it's like email back and forth. It can go to live chats, where it's just an immediate back and forth or chatting with a human there. And it can also then escalate into a Zoom call. So if you want email, if you want live chat, if you want a Zoom call, all of those in kind of like a one-on-one experience, that's absolutely possible, and that's how it's interfaced through here. So we've got asynchronous content. We have kind of like on-demand conversations, you could call them. Conversations via email, conversations via live chat, conversations via Zoom. The third tier here is around scheduled. So this could be like an onboarding call. This could be like you use the calendar and they book a call to go in there. We even do like coaching calls. If it's a scheduled coaching call and our team is interfacing kind of more like an on-demand office hours or a specific training for something there. So that's the third one. And the fourth way that we want to be helpful and support is actually with coaching and community. This is on-demand resources for you, but as well as bringing everyone together, because we have a unique group of folks that are achieving and finding success inside of the HighLevel ecosystem, and we really want to foster a community of abundance and sharing there. And so as far as the widget goes, the first 2 are managed on here. We have asynchronous, this is like on-demand articles, videos, news releases, and then we have on-demand conversations. This is going to be through email, through live chats, and through Zoom call here. And so if I send in a request and say, how do you delete a funnel or something like that, and it can be as specific as they want. Doesn't really matter. It puts them into a queue, and I'll show you on the backside what it looks like to be connected to an agent. In the account that I'm demoing right here, it actually is intentionally skipping the team, but I'll show you what it looks like on the backside. You can see real tickets happening, and you and your team get to collaborate in there with us as well. So we're doing it, but nothing that we do is in a black box. It's all open book. It's all collaborative in the sense of that you get to see full stats, full experiences, and because it really is a true partnership there. But that's from the front end, the general experience. In the control panel widget here, so you can turn on and off all these things. We'll go over towards in a second. You can also do things like upload a custom logo per sub account. So if you want to customize the logos that show up on a sub account basis there, you can do that. And then you've got the theme builder. So our theme builder is a designed overlay. So it changes the look, the feel. You can actually do a lot of customization with our theme builder. So it really does build a unique theme. And that's what we find in the private label or white label space. A big differentiator is your brand. If you think about like in the Amazon, if you had a private label product, it's the packaging. It's the X factors around there, because potentially all the products are stamped out in China. And so why does one thrive over the other? It's usually these sort of X factors of how they do their marketing, how they do their client acquisition, how they do with their customer support, as well as how they affect the look and feel and experience of their brand. And so that's why I want to give you power to do that. And so inside of the theme builder, you can kind of have general quick settings here in terms of things that you want to do. This is actually most powerful inside of a sub account. So I'm going to toggle into a sub account, and we can show you what that experience is like building inside of the theme builder in a sub account. You see the settings might be reverting because the sub account might already have a custom theme applied to it. And so we'll take a look and start to play around with some of the settings there. So I'll toggle in. So right now it's got Techno Purple is the published theme. I'm going to toggle into a new one just to sort of reset the experience and show you what it looks like. And so all of these, settings, the default ones, they're all changeable. So it's intended to be, you can, set and pick your colors uniquely and see those applied in real time onto the screen. I must have some custom colors. So I'm going to turn off the advanced options there, and you see it just applies to the general settings here. So sort of like a quick builder version where if you're like, okay, I just want to change up some colors, I like the theme, and we're good to go. You can even do pretty dramatic things like bringing the navigation to the top. You can enable a dashboard banner here. So kind of like a top fold above the dashboard there. Change out settings for the text and the button color and the headlines, and turning on internal links if you want to link to different things there. You can set the fonts for the theme here, and so you've got all of these Google fonts. Obviously lots and lots of options there, so you can change that around and see the effect. And those are sort of the quick general settings that you can apply. If I will continue down, we have our login page settings. So these are the things that customize the look and feel of your actual login page there. Form positioning beyond the left, center, or right. Changing the background image, some of the info there. The logo. You can also set the loading icon for the page. Just set a custom loading icon there. And then into the advanced settings, we have even more options here. But so these are going to override your general settings. You see, I turn that on. It's now overriding, I believe, in particular, your color settings there. I believe your fonts still apply. But if we come back to our advanced settings, now we can get into all of these different color options. This theme in particular has sort of like a slanted option there, and so we could change, okay, do I want a gradient of 45 degrees, or do I want it to be 75 degrees? So I reset that, and you see it becomes more dramatic there at the top. And similarly, we can change our colors that are fading through. You can get pretty granular in terms of editing these. You can change out individual icon colors, hovers, background images. These are all of these icons. You see you got the profile button, the help icon, the notifications button, the changelog button, the phone button, the ZappyChat button if you're using ZappyChat, the guided tour button. So this is this overlay there. And that also references, we'll show you the guided tours. You can enable multilingual links. So it responds to HighLevel's multilingual ability there. You can set scroll bar colors, all sorts of things. And then you can even change out the icons and even naming conventions for items here on the left. So instead of Launchpad, if I want this to say get started or start here, right? I think I typed get started. You see, it's renamed to get started. And if I want to, I'll just take another icon from the contacts here. These match Font Awesome. So anything inside of the Font Awesome library, you can use interchangeably and swap these out. So you see, I took the icon from contacts, replace that on get started, and you see that's now showing up. But so this is another way to make it personal to your brand, is rename some of these areas here. So like for conversations, maybe you want to rename that to inbox. You see now it shows this inbox. So you can customize the icons, you can customize the names of the menu items there, and this goes into individual tabs, even the settings here for the sub accounts that's inside of the settings area. All of those can be edited as well. A lot of background color options, just a lot of options for granular control over for any of these things. You know, and for the statuses for pipelines, you could change the default colors for pipeline statuses. And we do take tons of feature requests. So there at the bottom, you got a request, please just let us know. And we're pretty quick to build that out. The next thing we have here is our lockout feature. So by default, HighLevel set so that if it's turned off in a sub account, they don't see it. What we've introduced is the ability to lock it out so that if you go and visit that item, it actually shows a locked icon and prompts them to upgrade rather than just hiding it there. It's all managed with a Google Sheet, so you can kind of manage that process there. And we've got a whole instruction sample sheet there for how you can deploy this and turn that on inside of your accounts. The last piece here is some sub account and global settings here, so you can actually choose to have the theme builder button accessible from a sub account instead of just from the agency account there. You can turn on and off certain global banners such as Yext and WordPress. You can actually reorder the menu items. So if I turn on the reordering option, now what happens is I can come up here and actually drag and pull something like inbox higher up in terms of the menu order, and you can hide menu links by default. So this is another one of those things where by default, HighLevel, if it's turned off in the sub accounts, you don't see it, they don't see it. Like it's just inaccessible. But maybe you just want to hide it and you still want to use it. So if you're in a place where it's like, I basically offer managed funnels, I don't want the people in the sub accounts editing the funnels that I'm doing there. You can come in and be like, I'm going to hide something like sites. And you see when I turn that on, and I have the option to hit X and just change that item to be hidden. The other thing we have is groups. So you can actually create groups for your menu items here. So this is like if you wanted to have a stacked experience for groups in your menus. So if you wanted to simplify your menu structure and have it be more of like a drop-down experience, this is how you could do that. So if I go ahead and add a group, I could say, well, here's the example of one, is it's your customers. Go add another group, we got marketing sales, add another group, we got tools and reporting. And then you can add items to that group in particular. And so now if I want to order and rearrange these, I can do that within groups, which is kind of a really handy thing. You can see, so now we've got your customers, and under there we've got contacts, reputation, inbox, and calendars. And then for marketing sales, there's marketing, sites, opportunities, and payments. And so sites, this is HighLevel's terminology there, but it defaults to the funnels area. So now you could actually have it set where you do like funnels and website and pick some of the upper menu items, WordPress, as opposed to doing the generic upper level structure there. So lots of possibility and ways you can customize it. We try to make it quick and easy. We try to make it as flexible and robust and easy to adopt as possible. So this is one of the things we work with you initially to get it configured to match whatever the look and feel and desired aesthetic is that you have. And the nice thing is it's one of those things where you set it once and you don't have to edit it again. And usually you can get pretty close to identifying an area that feels like, okay, a good starting point by picking one of the starter themes and then working from there based on the aesthetics there. But I will say, this is intended to like save it as you do it, because in the live editor mode, we're really applying a lot of styles over each other. So it is, a lot of cool custom code going on. And hopefully this doesn't feel overwhelming to hear about, because I promise you, when you're doing it for the first time and it's a fresh account, it's never been done before, it's pretty seamless and pretty cool way to apply a different look and feel to your account there. So that covers our theme builder. That also covers our chat widgets. Now I want to talk through, in terms of like the scheduled calls, we literally just give you a calendar. So we give you an embeddable calendar that you can now put, and then it interfaces just like a high-level calendar where folks can schedule in those calls if you have us doing your onboarding, or if you just want the scheduled calls or coaching calls in general. The other two pieces here, if I come back to our control panel, is the Launchpad customizer. So this was that, starting screen here, and it's just letting you know that the theme builder is going to leverage and use whatever is set by the Launchpad. The custom Launchpad is going to use whatever styles are applied by the theme, but we can see, I can turn that off and start to customize what does this look like. I can also turn certain things on or off. So this is the Launchpad experience by default, but you may not be using Stripe or encouraging folks to use Stripe, or maybe WhatsApp doesn't apply to you, and so you can turn those items off and not worry about customers getting prompted to configure something that doesn't make sense for the type of customers that you have. Or it always could go the other way in terms of like maybe you really do want WhatsApp. We got Google Business Profile turned off, but that's like if you're not serving local businesses and they're not building with a team or using Gex or WordPress. The cool thing is you can really simplify it down to the items that apply to you. And then you can also create custom items in here. So that's what you see over here is we've got a couple custom ones that are built out, but you can add a new one depending on what it is and what action you want them to take. So let's say if I wanted like add domain to be one of the actions there, and connect your domain to get your funnels and website live. Connect, and then our URL here, you see it says you can use the path after the location ID, and so the actual path to go and connect that might be domain. I'm actually not sure if that's the case. And by default, we'll put it on the bottom there, and we'll look for, what do we have for website? WordPress. Maybe I could find another thing. We'll go. Do they have anything for domain? Let's go internet. Kind of funny. Internet Explorer. And so you see there's our connect a domain custom option there that we put down at the bottom. But as a quick option, I could also bring that to the top and make that one of the first things that they do. And then in terms of styling, that's just going to apply to the colors above. So if we're using custom ones, or if we're using the theme builder colors there, it's going to apply either the custom colors that we're choosing, or it's going to use the default colors that HighLevel has. And you see you can make this unique and in line with your brand. You want to have the icon color be similar. Something like that. And so that's a really cool thing you can do there inside of the control panel with Launchpad Customizer. And then lastly, we have documented API. So we have API documentation and API key that's unique to you. So if there's additional things you want to automate, or you want to expand the functionality of what we're doing over here, we allow you to build on top of what we build. And that's what we're here to do, is be as helpful as possible and to help you buy back some time, ensure success, stabilize that growth curve, and shortcut some of the learning experiences that we've had to go through since 2019 being inside of HighLevel. Now I want to take a look at when we say community and coaching, we have a private Facebook group in here. And you see we've got a schedule of calls that are happening Monday through Friday. They cover a range of topics from sales to snapshots to AI to just general high-level troubleshooting. And so you can hop into these. They're inside of Zoom. You can participate, you can chat, you can be face-to-face with your coaches there, and we get a ton of great feedback and input from folks on what's the coaching call experience has been. So we like to continue to foster that kind of community there. And this is a look inside of the back end of how we actually run support. And so you have access into here and can control and make a ton of settings when it comes to what the look and feel and the SOPs are. And so this is a highly collaborative experience, or at least, it's an open box. So you don't have to participate, but you have complete ability to and transparency with that. And so here's the articles. You can turn them on and off. You can actually also manage that from a category perspective. And so if I turn off a certain category, let's say, like memberships, and I'm like, I don't want to show memberships. Well, that's going to reflect inside of the articles as well as the news flashes. So this is those news releases that Sean does, like a Sean coming at you. And so if it's in that category, even though it shows right now online, you can turn individual ones off, but it's also going to intelligently match with any sort of category assignments there. The other thing we have is SOPs. So this is our ability to kind of collaborate with you. And so you can create specific articles in here, or just sort of like reference points for our team. So your SOPs, depending on what they are, we get them documented in here. It's actually part of our onboarding process. We work through, hey, what do you guys do from a standard operating procedure? How do you handle billing? How do you handle, different escalations, different questions like that? And so we try to get that on the front end, which allows us to be as helpful as possible as we continue in there and start supporting your folks. This is the courses area. And so depending on your tier here, you give access to these, and these are intended to not be discoverable,
new visitor in the queue,
but actually be things you could send as kind of like a point of reference for your members. So it's just an additional resource there, and it walks them through sort of like a step-by-step of comprehensive actions that they might want to, follow in terms of like how to accomplish a specific task that might, overlap on different areas there. So in this example is how to set up an automated recurring invoice workflow. So that's going to involve invoices. That's also going to involve workflows. And so that's all managed within the courses area there. We even have integrations, so you can integrate with other things if you're using a different tool there. All of this is customizable to you and your business, and so there's a few themes out of the box that you can play around with. All of this can be customized to your liking inside of your account there. I realize this is a longer demo, but just to recap, our focus is to help you be as successful as possible within HighLevel. We do that primarily through supporting you and supporting your users. The extent of that is on-demand resources, up to date every single day. It is one-on-one, on-demand conversations via live chat, via conversations, and via one-on-one Zoom calls. It can also be scheduled support for your users or for you. For you, that's usually, you can book into a calendar there. And for your users, they can have the onboarding calendar. They can also book, into scheduled support calls and like that. And on a fourth dimension, it's coaching its community, trying to bring them together. And so that might mean hosting coaching calls for your users, or it could be you participating in any of the coaching calls that we have going on inside of our Facebook community there. And those happen on Zoom. They're streamed live into Facebook. And the last piece of how we support you has to do with Slack. We set you up in a private Slack channel. This could be connected to your existing Slack community, or we'll pay for you to be inside of Slack there. And Slack is just a great kind of like on demand. It's sort of like a thread. It has threads. So it's sort of like a ticket, sort of like a live chat experience there. And a lot of agencies and customers already use it, and that's why we even introduced it, was because you requested Slack as a possible channel of communication there, and we said we'd be happy to accommodate. So those are the ways that we support you, help you succeed when it comes to HighLevel, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. If you're curious and you're like, I don't really feel sad about maybe is this plan right or wrong for me, what I encourage you to do is sign up for either Core or VIP. VIP gets that Slack channel integration there. So that'd be my encouragement to you, and I'll see you on the inside.